'Twas the year 2020, and the chapter staff was giddy. Bear with us here, we're trying to be witty.
Plans were made and programs put in motion. Then COVID struck and left behind a lot of commotion.
We began to pivot at the drop of a hat. All of our events and programs became remote, just like that.
Home visits and support groups took to Zoom, and powerful tools for caregivers went virtual, causing attendance to boom.
We even added a new program to our virtual list. Living with ALS is a new monthly meeting that you don't want to miss.
If your phone rang more often, that's not coincidental. We increased contact with families. What? We miss you. We're sentimental.
Most importantly, our programs were maintained through the year. Equipment, nutrition, chapter grants. Whatever you need, we're always here.
State advocacy was held virtually for the first time ever. Thanks to our advocates, we made it into the budget. Gee, aren't we clever?
Marketing planned and launched a new blog to the scene, and our social ambassadors helped spread awareness while in quarantine.
Across the country, 600 virtual advocacy meetings took place to help us achieve numerous policies, like funding to keep research on pace.
And events, it was quite a year. Seems like every day we shifted to a new gear.
Our community came together in an amazing way. In fact, Pittsburgh is the top block in the country.
Yay!
Johnstown teams knocked it out of the park. Their 15th anniversary sure left a mark.
CEOs got soaked in a brand new way. From the fountain to the pool, it was an epic day.
Our ALS allies made sure their support was cemented, while our urgent COVID appeal donations were unprecedented.
The marathon runners didn't let a pandemic slow them down. They raised funds and ran by themselves all over town.
We know 2020 has been a year of ups and downs. We've all had our fair share of near breakdowns.
We're ALS in this together as a community, and we can't pass up this amazing opportunity.
To say thank you to each and every one. Without you, all of this could not have been done.
This concludes our attempt at being funny. When you work from home for too long, things kinda start to get punny. Hi, and thank you for joining us at the annual ALS Association Western Pennsylvania Chapter Holiday Party. While we aren't able to host our traditional in-person event at the Sharon Station Square, we thought it was more important than ever to reach out to our ALS community this year. Tonight is about each and every one of you, our collective ALS community. And while we try to acknowledge your contributions all throughout the year, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. If you're a volunteer, advocate, or donor, thank you for your generosity. And if you're a person living with ALS or a caregiver, thank you for entrusting us with a piece of your care. Hopefully you enjoyed our poem, "'Twas the Year 2020. You heard chapter staff speak about highlights over the past year. I want to take a few moments to tell you a little bit more and assure you that the state of our chapter is strong and prepared to keep meeting the needs of those that we serve. On the fundraising front, over the past few years, we've seen our fundraising increase significantly, which has allowed us to expand the ways that we support the ALS community. We went into 2020 energized and expecting to beat our previous year total. Then the pandemic hit, and we weren't quite sure what to expect. In fact, we prepared for the worst. But our generous donors and fundraisers made sure that the chapter was able to continue providing the same level of service. Even in these incredibly tough times, our events all achieved between 80 and 90% of our original goal. Not only that, but the Pittsburgh Walk to Defeat ALS became the top fundraising walk in the country for the first time ever. We also successfully launched an individual giving campaign, added a new online auction, and created a new monthly giving program called ALS Allies. Thanks to everyone who made a gift to the chapter this year. For the sake of transparency, I should mention that even with all of our success, we're on track to be 20 to 25% below our budgeted revenue goal. Your continued support through the end of the year to help us close the gap is greatly appreciated. Switching gears to advocacy, we had some significant breakthroughs. All 6 members of the House of Representatives for Western Pennsylvania co-sponsored the ALS Disability Insurance Act, which would eliminate the 6-month waiting period to receive Social Security disability benefits for anyone with an ALS diagnosis. The bill has now received enough co-sponsors that it will hopefully be up for a vote before the end of the year. Additionally, our advocates provided enough pressure on Medicare to remove non-invasive ventilators from the Medicare competitive bidding process, thus ensuring high-quality care for anyone in need of an NIV. At the state level, our advocates went above and beyond to preserve our funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Health. With an increase in state expenses and a loss of revenue due to the pandemic, it was unclear up until the budgets were passed if we would be included. A loss of state funding would have reduced total chapter income by 20% and greatly impacted our ability to provide respite care grants and equipment. A big thank you to everyone that reached out to an elected official this year to encourage their support of ALS-related priorities. When it comes to care services, we're fortunate that we have been able to provide the same high level of support to families in all 31 counties that the chapter serves. All of our core programs continued, including support for 4 ALS multidisciplinary clinics, providing respite care grants, and equipment loan program, all at similar levels to what we've provided in the past. What makes that all the more remarkable is it was done remotely from staff's homes and while we were down a social worker from February to September. I do want to take this opportunity to welcome Jill Kerr, who joined our team as a full-time social worker in early October. This is the first time our chapter has had 2 full-time social workers on staff. It is a need we identified last year, and I'm so glad that we were able to move forward and bring Jill on board. I hope that you have the opportunity to meet her soon. I also want to take a moment to note how remarkable it is that our care services team increased the level of outreach to our registered ALS families while moving all home visits, educational symposiums, and support groups to a virtual setting. Additionally, they even added a new program called Living with ALS, a monthly call for people living with ALS to connect with one another. Thank you to all of the families that have trusted us to support them during this journey. Now I want to take this opportunity to thank our incredible board of directors and staff. Our board is made up of a dedicated group of 13 members who worked hard this year to provide strategic direction, guidance, and oversight of our chapter. 3 of our 4 officers started their first term in February. Congratulations to our new board president, Keith Pisarcik, vice president, Mike Daniels, and secretary, David Mongelo. Additionally, I want to personally thank immediate past chair, Kristi Klarczyk, immediate past vice president, Chris Bloomley, and current board treasurer, Aaron Magoo, for their service on the board. Kristi, Chris, and Aaron have all served their full terms and must roll off the board at the end of January. As a token of our appreciation, the chapter has sent each of them a plaque and a clock in appreciation of their leadership for a decade of service. Finally, thank you to my team, the chapter staff. You all have risen to the challenge and rolled with the ever-changing business environment that 2020 threw at us with grace and determination. Thank you to Kristi Marsili, Amy Hackemer-Olson, and Jenna McEwen for your focus to keep us on track this year to ensure that we had the funds needed to keep our mission moving forward. You're truly one of the finest development teams in the entire ALS Association. Thank you to Kelsey Schooley and Danielle Labruzzo for your incredible work in both marketing and advocacy. You ensured that our ALS community was up to date with information even as circumstances changed on a nearly daily basis, while also working to keep our elected officials engaged to meet the needs of our community. Thank you to Marie Felino, Sandra Thompson, April Smith, and Jill Kerr for soldiering on and adapting to ensure that everyone received the services needed. 2020 brought with it new needs and new challenges, but you never backed down, and we are all better for your determination. Thank you to Jim Gallagher, who literally kept our chapter running. When we switched to remote working in March, Jim was the one that ensured our bills got paid, our checks got cashed, and that our office was functioning even while no one was physically present. I appreciate the hard work that each and every one of you has put in this past year. If there was an award for Best ALS Association Staff Team, I have no doubt that you all would win it this year. For all of you at home, if you'd like to learn more about the state of the chapter, please visit our website to read our 2020 Impact Report. It is now my pleasure to introduce Chapter Director of Development, Kristi Marsili.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristi Marsili, the Director of Development here at the chapter. I'm here to give the recap on the events, but just before we get into that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone that helped make this year such a success. This has been an extremely interesting year to plan and execute events, and even more challenging to fundraise and ask for donations. But through all the pivoting and changing and Zooming, you all stuck with us and helped make a difference for the ALS community. The Johnstown Walk celebrated its 15th anniversary this year, and while we would have loved to celebrate together, we were absolutely blown away by the committee and teams who hosted their own walks and raised over $118,000. Pittsburgh walk teams didn't let a pandemic get in the way of their walk either. Walkers joined together from all over the country to show support and raise ALS awareness. We are so thrilled to share that Pittsburgh Walk to Defeat ALS is the top walk in the nation, with over $524,000 raised for our ALS community. When COVID-19 came into the picture, we were just getting into the thick of Team Challenge ALS season. Our runners quickly adapted when the Pittsburgh Marathon went virtual and continued to run relays, half marathons, and even full marathons on their own across the city and in multiple states. This incredible awareness helped raise more than $19,000. Our CEO and Pittsburgh business community renewed their support for the chapter and raised over $100,000 for our CEO soak. Some soakies joined us for our socially distanced CEO soak at the PPG fountain, while others submitted some amazing videos of their DIY soaks. New this year was our ALS Association Community Cares Auction, which was hosted virtually for our entire community to come together for a fun night of fun, prizes, and to shed some light on the funding need for our respite care program. The first time event raised over $34,000. We had an amazing response from our donors who gave generously to our urgent COVID-19 appeal and helped raise more than $10,000 for our nutritional supplements program in just a few days. Shortly after that, our ALS Allies program launched, which brought in more monthly donors than ever before. Thank you to everyone that made our event such an incredible success during this difficult year. It has been an extremely humbling experience to witness what you all have been able to accomplish. We are all so thankful for each and every one of you that continues to show us that ALS doesn't stop, and neither will you.
Thank you, Kristi, and all of our 2020 event participants. It's now my pleasure to introduce Keith Pisarcik, President of the ALS Association Western Pennsylvania Chapter Board of Directors, to present our 4 annual chapter awards.
Thank you, Ryan. While this year's holiday party and awards ceremony looks very different, I'm honored to present the following recipients with our chapter awards. These 4 awards are given each year to people who have made a very special and profound impact on the chapter, the people we serve, and the greater ALS community. They are the Robert F. Ballant Above and Beyond Award, the Dr. Sarah W. Wood Outstanding Advocate Award, the Rita G. Patchen Volunteer of the Year Award, and the Manessa Tinsley Crabb Voice of Courage Award. The Robert F. Ballant Above and Beyond Award is named for a former Western Pennsylvania chapter board member who served the ALS community with a dedication and passion that went far above and beyond that which is expected. Bob was kind, generous, thoughtful, and compassionate, and cared enormously for all those who we serve. This year, the award is going to another gentleman who has exceeded all responsibilities and expectations to serve the ALS Association. The recipient of the 2020 Above and Beyond Award is Chris Bloomley. Chris became involved with the Western Pennsylvania chapter more than a decade ago after losing his mother Karen to ALS. He quickly established himself as someone who would go out of his way to help. He started a golf tournament that has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars over a decade and championed our chapter's Ski to Defeat ALS event. Always willing to help and be involved, Chris would call the office frequently to check in and make sure the staff is taken care of and supported. He wanted to make sure the chapter was equipped to provide the best care for our local community. Chris then went on to join the chapter board of directors in February of 2010 and serve as the chapter's vice president from 2016 to 2019. However, that is not where his leadership ended. In 2017, Chris joined the National Board of Representatives, one of 2 national boards of the entire association, and succeeded to the chairmanship of that group in 2019. As chair of the Board of Representatives, Chris was tasked with providing ideas and insight from all 39 chapters back to the National ALS Association. In many ways, this became a second full-time job for Chris, where he dedicated most weekends and evenings to providing a voice for the entire chapter network. Chris's dedication and dogged determination to ensure that the mission of the ALS Association continues now and well into the future is why he is the recipient of the Robert F. Ballant Above and Beyond Award. Thank you, Chris.
Greetings. Hope you're all staying safe and healthy during these challenging and unprecedented times. I'd first like to just take a moment and thank those who nominated for me this very prestigious award. I'm truly honored and blessed to be this year's recipient of the Bob Allen Above and Beyond Award. When Ryan called me last month to inform me I'd won this award, I must be honest, it really caught me off guard, and I had to take a step back and pause with emotion. I immediately thought of Bob. I've been involved with this association for nearly 10 years, and one of the first people I had the pleasure of meeting was Bob, so it really means a lot to me. When I think of being at the holiday party every year and watching Erica present that year's recipient, it's hard not to think about Bob. The work of this association meant the world to Bob, and we were and we are a better group because of his commitment and dedication. So thank you, Bob. When I look at this award, I think about it in two different ways. Above and beyond, right? So when my mother passed away 15 years ago, I would do my best to avoid conversations involving those three letters, ALS. And it really wasn't until I found the association, or maybe the association found me, that I was truly able to move ahead with finding a way to honor my mother, and at the same time assist those that are going through the same realities that hit our family several years back. I am constantly amazed with the stories of love, compassion, and dedication from the folks in our community. I truly don't believe I've done anything more than that you all do each and every day to help those in need and work toward our goal of creating a world without ALS. So thank you all for your amazing support and dedication in this fight. And second, the namesake of this award, Bob Allen. What can I say? Bob was a friend, he was a mentor, and he was really one of the reasons I ended up joining this board. His passion and generosity were truly contagious. And this award epitomizes everything that Bob brought to our board and his commitment to helping our pals, their caregivers, and families. Bob really did epitomize going above and beyond. Receiving recognition for award of your service is always an honor, but receiving an award named after someone like Bob makes it even more special. I really look forward to the day and time when we can all get together once again as a community, and I thank you all once again for this award. It really does mean the world to me. So God bless, and I hope you and your families have a safe and happy holiday season.
Thank you again, Chris, for your kind words and your dedication to our chapter and all of those living with ALS. Your passion has brought thousands of others closer to the association mission, and all of us closer to a world without ALS. Dr. Sarah W. Wood has been a long-standing advocate for ALS and was the first recipient of the Advocate of the Year award named for her. Sarah's contributions to the organization's advocacy programs were the very foundation of our entire public policy program. I am pleased to introduce this year's recipient of the Dr. Sarah W. Wood Outstanding Advocate Award, Mike Fleming. Mike joined our ALS community last year as a partial caregiver for his father. Although his father is no longer with us, Mike has used this year to advocate boldly and share his father's ALS story. As a nod to his father's veteran roots, Mike makes sure our elected officials know the correlation between ALS and the military, like the fact that veterans are twice as likely to develop ALS than civilians. By attending chapter care services symposiums and resource groups, Mike also has an incredible knowledge of how the chapter helps those living with ALS. The way he crafts his knowledge of the chapter and the disease into his appeals to elected officials has made a big impact this year. He's gone above and beyond for our advocacy efforts, recently joining the Public Policy Committee and even helping another chapter with their advocacy outreach. Not only has Mike been an outstanding advocate, but he has been a great friend and ally to other members of our ALS community by supporting their walk teams and third-party events. I am so proud to also welcome Mike as one of our newest board members. We are so very lucky to have this all-around good guy as a part of our ALS family.
Hi, I'm Mike Fleming, and I want to thank the chapter for this award. I'm very honored to receive it. I was the caretaker last year, along with my mom, when my father was diagnosed with ALS. He was an electrical engineer in the Pittsburgh area, retired, and an Air Force veteran. He's no longer with us, but I continue to be involved with the ALS Association, and John Letizia offered me the opportunity to become involved with the Public Policy Committee this spring when it was formed. The members of the committee all have personal experience with ALS. Some of them have ALS, the familial form within their families. Some of them have ALS themselves or are caretakers for someone with ALS. They all worked hard this year, and I really share this award with all of them. It was so fulfilling to be on the call with this group of people and telling the lawmakers and their staff about our stories and why the priorities of the ALS Association are so important to our community. I look forward to a future where we'll be able to go in person to Harrisburg and to Washington, D.C. to make our cases. We had good success this year, and we will keep it going for all of you. Thank you again for the award.
Thank you, Mike, for raising your voice and fighting on behalf of our families living with ALS. Rita G. Patchen was a founding member of the chapter back in 1982 and served as the president of the chapter for 18 years. Due to her outstanding service to the organization and dedication to ALS, the chapter established this award to recognize a person or persons who use their free time and sometimes their work hours to make a positive change in our ALS community. The Rita G. Patchen Volunteer of the Year Award is being awarded to 2 amazing volunteers this year because we honestly couldn't just pick one. First up is a face I'm sure you all recognize and adore like we do, because for the past 6 years, she has always voluntarily, and sometimes involuntarily, lent a hand wherever and for whatever the chapter needed her. Whether it be filming a video to help with awareness, marching on Capitol Hill to fight for better policies, or handing out medals at one of the most challenging volunteer opportunities the chapter has offered, Amy Shaughnessy has always been there for our ALS community wearing a smile. In addition to Amy being a walk team captain and office volunteer, this year we asked Amy to take her passion for fighting ALS to a new level. She not only said yes, she thrived. Amy now volunteers as a member of our board of directors, leads our board fund development committee, and took charge as our chairperson of the Pittsburgh Walk to Defeat ALS committee. As the walk lead, Amy worked with staff to help recruit and organize committee members to help redefine our event model. While this was happening, COVID struck, which not only made us pivot from a new committee structure, but forced Amy and the committee to help us reimagine a whole new event. Even with the uncertainty of what would be possible in the fall of 2020, Amy made it clear that canceling was never an option. She put in countless hours to help lead the charge and make the Pittsburgh Walk to Defeat ALS the top walk in the country since it became a national program. Congratulations on your success, Amy, and thank you for not blocking our calls. Yet.
Hello, everyone. It's an absolute honor to be here today and to be recognized as Volunteer of the Year. When Ryan first called to share the news with me, it immediately took me back to when my daughter Maeve received the same recognition for her work with ALS kids. When we learned that ALS kids were Volunteers of the Year in 2016, I was at my mother-in-law Carol's house. There was nothing my mother-in-law loved more than celebrating her grandchildren's successes. And as I read the email from Merritt to Carol aloud, I watched as a single tear fell down her cheek. My mother-in-law was so proud of Maeve and all that she did for the ALS community. Carol would not see Maeve receive that award in person because the next morning on Thanksgiving Day, she passed away after her 2-year battle with ALS. I treasure that memory with Carol, and I know the day Maeve accepted her award, Carol was with us in a different way. That's why I'm here today. My family made a promise to Carol that we would continue her fight, and we work every day to live up to that promise. 4 years later, my family and I have participated in every walk, helped with mailings, watched as our young CEO got soaked in the fountains at PPG, and traveled to Washington, D.C. and Harrisburg to advocate for our amazing pals in Western PA. So when I was asked to chair the Pittsburgh Walk this year, yes was the only answer I could give. 2020 sure has thrown a lot at all of us, and we had no idea what the walk could look like or if we would even be able to pull one off. Once we realized we would not be able to gather at the point, we quickly switched gears. By that point, everyone was tired of hearing the word virtual, so we knew we had to come up with something special and unique. With the help of Ryan, his staff, and the amazing walk committee, we decided that the walk would come to you this year. It was so fun to see how each team celebrated, and I know being in various neighborhoods, the walks helped bring even more awareness to our ALS community. And boy, did we succeed. Pittsburgh was the top walk in the country and the only walk to reach $500,000. We reached 90% of our goal during a pandemic and raised over $521,000 for our pals in Western PA. I accept this award not only on my behalf, but for the entire committee as well. We are all excited to come back and make our walk #1 in the country again next year. And though Carol is not with me today, I feel her presence and her love, just as I know my daughter Maeve did when she was bestowed the same honor 4 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, for all you and your family do for our chapter and the families we support. We're sure Carol is prouder than ever as you continue her fight. Now, I'd like to introduce another volunteer of the year who has been an instrumental supporter of our Johnstown walk from the very beginning, Sharon Squillario. From securing a sponsorship from UPMC Altoona to managing the day of logistics for the walk, Sharon is always willing to lend a hand. Always quick to spread the word about chapter events, this year when we added the Community Cares auction, she was one of the first to volunteer for the committee. This year, Sharon's dedication and support had a huge impact on our Johnstown Walk to Defeat ALS. Taking on the role of event lead for our second largest event at the chapter was no small task, and thankfully, Sharon was up to the challenge. At the beginning of the year, Sharon and our committee were tasked to once again plan an amazing event. However, those plans were also halted with COVID-19. But Sharon never wavered throughout the planning process. If you have never been to a Johnstown Walk, you are truly missing out. The event is more like a family reunion than anything else, and Sharon is a big part of that family. This year was the 15th anniversary of the Johnstown Walk, and nothing was going to stop us from commemorating the area's achievements towards fighting ALS. As a committee, we went through numerous alternative plans, and Sharon's positive attitude was the backbone of each one. On July 25th, over 30 teams walked their own way, and Sharon and the committee all helped tremendously in spreading the word and encouraging others to do their part. Thank you, Sharon, for always being ready to shift gears and going above and beyond to make this year a success for our ALS families.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sharon Squillario, and I just wanted to thank the ALS Western Pennsylvania chapter for this incredible honor. When I received the call from Ryan, I truly was without words and went silent on the phone. I was in complete shock. I really didn't understand why I was receiving an award for something I truly enjoy doing. The main reason I do what I do is for my mom, Phyllis, who lost her battle to ALS just 18 short months after she was diagnosed. From the day my mom was diagnosed until her last day, she fought this disease with the utmost dignity. She was a true fighter. I volunteer so that I can continue my mom's fight and for all others who are affected by ALS so that we can find a cure. Following my mom's diagnosis, I contacted the Western PA chapters to see how I could help, what I could do to volunteer. I, along with other members of my family, became involved in the Johnstown ALS committee, and what an incredible group of people to become involved with. When the pandemic hit this year, there was so much uncertainty, and we knew that the in-person walk could not be held. This incredible group of people came together to show the world that ALS, or a pandemic, was not going to defeat us. I accept this award on behalf of my mom and the incredible Johnstown Walk Committee. I sincerely thank the Western PA chapter for this honor, and I promise to continue to volunteer in any way that I can until there is a cure. ALS doesn't stop, and neither will I. My heartfelt thanks for this award.
Thank you, Sharon, for all you and your family do for our Johnstown area and the entire chapter in memory of your mother. It is astounding to see the milestones made by such a small but mighty group. Manessa Tinsley Crabb, a reporter for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, passed away from ALS in 2009, but prior to that, she used her public platform to write passionately about all aspects of ALS. We call this next award the Voice of Courage, because it takes just that, courage, to speak out and speak up about the disease and the personal impact it has on you and your family. This year's recipient of the Manessa Tinsley Crabb Voice of Courage Award is a familiar face, Stephen Komninos. Stephen is our resident tech dude at the chapter. Thanks to his passion for technology, Stephen helped the Care Services team improve the chapter's smart home lending program. He worked with the staff and speech-language pathologist to gather information and review various products in real-life settings. Stephen is presented at the chapter's technology symposiums, providing information on the various ways technology can help improve quality of life and help others regain their independence. He is always willing to share his knowledge and answer any questions because he knows how critical this information is to those living with ALS. In 2018, Stephen participated in the chapter's year-end campaign to bring attention and awareness to the Smart Home Lending Program and appeal to the community to raise funds for this innovative service. He then went on to even record a tutorial to help others understand the chapter's Smart Home program when he can't be there to present and answer questions. But raising awareness for smart home tech isn't all Stephen does. He participated in a presentation at a Pittsburgh Pirates baseball game and was invited on the field for the first pitch. Stephen and his wonderful wife Misha are always at our Pittsburgh Walk to Defeat ALS, leading Team Comninos, and have helped us soak our CEOs at the annual CEO Soak. Stephen has truly been a voice for so many patients in our community and our ALS community at large. His passion and determination truly show that anything is possible with a smart home device, Wi-Fi signal, and a huge heart. Thank you, Stephen, for accepting this year's Manessa Tinsley Crabb Voice of Courage Award.
Stephen would like to say that he is truly honored that he was even considered for the Manessa Tinsley Crabb Voice of Courage Award, let alone to actually be named the winner. He just tries to help out to the best of his abilities because this chapter has supported him for over 13 years with his ALS diagnosis. He tries to give back as much as possible for this reason. Stephen feels like his contributions toward all this smart home technology and integration is a great way to give back to our community. To be honest, he feels like it's something that he shouldn't be rewarded for. It's just something that he has always been interested in, and he definitely has a passion for it. Again, Stephen is extremely grateful for everything this chapter has done for him and also for me, and he graciously accepts this award with honor. Thank you so very much. And it's beautiful. We love it. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Stephen and Misha, for everything you do to improve life for others. And thank you to all our award winners who support us year after year, especially this year when your support was so crucial. I'll send it back over to Ryan and the rest of the chapter staff to finish the recap of this remarkable year.
Congratulations again to all of our award winners. We appreciate you joining us for our annual holiday party. We know this year was a little bit different, but we hope you enjoyed our fireside chat. From our homes to yours, the staff of the ALS Association Western Pennsylvania chapter wishes you the happiest of holidays.
Happy holidays!